Jacy Jayne has to be the luckiest champion in all of WWE. And I mean, I guess it's what her whole storyline, her whole reign has been. But damn, she was defending her championship against Zaria tonight in the main event match. And I was fully under the assumption Zaria is going to take that championship. I had a full convincing feeling that we were going to go to Stand and Deliver with Zaria versus Sol Ruca for that championship. No, during the match, Sol Ruca interferes, lays both women out with a Sol Snatcher, beats everybody down with the championship, and stands it tall. Man, fuck. I like Jacy Jayne. I think she's cool, man. But I'm so tired of her reign at this point. I just want to see something different. I want to see Zaria be the champion. Now, granted, it does feel like we're going to go to Stand and Deliver with a triple threat match, which I'm down for. I feel like that's going to be where you finally see Jacy Jayne and Sol Ruca probably get called up to the main roster. So potentially Zaria being world champion then could be cool. But man, okay, it was a great match. I really enjoyed the match. The ending was cool. I did not expect it. I expected Zaria to stand tall with the championship. But man, no. I'm not conflicted. I just wish Zaria won the championship. Overall though, it was a really good match. It was a standout match of tonight's show, not even gonna lie. The opening of the show, however, was really good. Miles Bourne comes out, he's your new North American champion, and he wants to celebrate that fact. He thanks all the fans, he thanks all the family, his friends, everybody, and he also thanks Ethan Page for being a hater and making him do this. Ethan Page does not stand for this at all, so he comes out, he says he wants a rematch. He's accomplished so much, he's the greatest North American champion, most defenses of that championship. He wants a rematch tonight. Miles Bourne also wants a rematch. Robert Stone comes out and says, no, you guys are in suits, you can't fight tonight. But both men want to fight, so Robert Stone, being the great general manager he's been so far, makes that match happen tonight, and both men start fighting in the suit. That was crazy, a wild opening to the show, but I loved it. It made it feel so natural. I say this each video, I'm gonna be a broken record. Whenever it feels like shit just happens on NXT, like it's booked on the fly, when it feels like that, not when that actually is. The shows are just so great, and I was one of those. And I love how they use their suits and stuff during the match. Eventually during the match, Ethan Page uses his belt buckle to knock down Miles Bourne, but that doesn't get the victory. Miles Bourne eventually, being new, he's not heelish, but he does use some weird tactics. Throws his shirt away, or no, he throws Ethan Page's pants to the referee. The referee has to pick it up, so he uses the shoe to knock Ethan Page down and picks up the victory. He retains his North American Championship. Goddamn great stuff. I don't believe this feud is done. I don't want this feud to be done. I'm really enjoying this. Ever since Miles Bourne won that championship, I've been totally reinvigorated into this feud. It's been a week, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but I don't want it to end yet. I want to see this whole new dynamic of Ethan Page chasing for the championship. It's very entertaining, although it does seem like we're going someplace else, as later tonight backstage, the NQCC, Miles Bourne, Tavion Knights, and Charlie Dempsey reunite. They congratulate Miles Bourne on his championship, but then the Birthright faction comes up. Miles Bourne leaves before any of that can happen, but the Birthright, they try to recruit Charlie Dempsey again, but Tavion Knights tells them, no, Charlie Dempsey isn't going to join you, so maybe we're going to see something like that. The Birthright, been a really interesting faction. I'm really curious to see how this Charlie Dempsey thing plays out, and Tavion Knights being inducted into this feud now seems great. It's something great for him to do, and hell, Birthright, they're just such an interesting faction. I'm excited to see where this goes. Everything on tonight's NXT just made me excited about the future. Now let's talk about the Dark State and Tony D'Angelo stuff I am genuinely not even really interested in, but we need to discuss it since it plays a major part in tonight's show. Darkseid are outside of the arena. They really want to attack Tony D'Angelo when he arrives, but Robert Stone ushers them inside, saying it can happen, just not outside. Then Tony D'Angelo arrives just as they're moving in. They don't see him. He opens the back of his car, takes out a crowbar, and then he walks into the arena. Later tonight, we find out Osiris Griffin his name is Osiris, right? Osiris Griffin? Doesn't matter at all. He gets attacked with a crowbar, but nobody sees it. So Dion Lennox, he's extremely pissed about this. So he says he's going to the ring right now to discuss what's happening with Tony D'Angelo. He comes out, Tony D'Angelo walks through the crowd. The two have a conversation. I have to say, Dion Lennox, he didn't feel very natural tonight, and that's fine, right? He's still young, still learning, but he definitely didn't feel as natural as I wanted him to. Tony D'Angelo was so much better on the mic than him, but hey, he still has time to grow. And yeah, he says that after he defeats Dion Lennox at Vengeance Day, step 1 of his 2-step plan is done. And again, like I said, Dark State is not nearly interesting enough for this feud to grab my attention. I like Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo is cool. This new gimmick of his, it's been pretty cool. I like it. It's not fully where I'm completely invested in it, but I see the vision. Unfortunately, pairing up with Darkseid was probably the worst thing they could have done because they're just not interesting enough to grab me for this feud. And that's why I'm not really excited to see what happens in this match. I'm not really excited for it at all. So who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. It's weird, man. Tony D'Angelo is obviously going to win somehow unless there's interferences. Don't know, but man, I can't say I care about this feud whatsoever. Then we have a segment where the glamour Blake Monroe comes down to the ring. She says that Jada Parker has interrupted her big moments and everybody expects her to feel annoyed, but she doesn't necessarily feel annoyed. She's willing to give Jada Parker the spotlight Jada Parker so desperately wants. Wow, what a mess up there. The spotlight she so desperately wants, and then Jada Parker comes out. Jada Parker says that Blake Monroe isn't the one giving the spotlight to Jada Parker. Jada Parker is the one giving the spotlight to Blake. But hey, I'm really invested in this feud. I'm excited to see where this match goes. Now, obviously, they did try and brawl, but Jada Parker quickly threw Blake Monroe out of the ring and stood tall. But later, during the 3-on-3 match between Shallow Hill and Hank Tank and the Vanity Project, afterwards, after the match, Blake Monroe in her full boiler suit gear stood on top of the commentary table, called out Blake Monroe, and Blake Monroe came down and then everybody had to pull them apart. And honestly, the initial promo itself didn't grab me as much. It was good. It was a good promo, don't get me wrong. Pretty solid from both of them and I enjoyed it. But what happened after that match with Blake Monroe in the boiler suit, saying that it was going to be a street fight now, got me so much more hyped for this match. I think you honestly could have just done that and I would have been just as hyped, but I really get it. You had to set up the earlier promo to make this payoff feel worth it. I'm so excited for this match. I don't know who's going to win. It should probably be Jada Parker, but you can make an argument for Blake Monroe too. I can see either side. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to put my money on Jada Parker picking up the victory. I feel like it feels like it makes more sense right now, but I don't know. Then we go backstage where Eli Knight is actually not upset at Elio LaFleur for stealing his victory last week. He's actually pretty cool with it, granted he does want another match against Elio LaFleur. Now, then Jasper Troy comes up. Jasper Troy says his victory got stolen, but both men kind of mock him, saying that he should just get away from him because, he doesn't really fit in here. He's not the definition of speed. He's a big guy. So he says that he then wants a match against Sean Lex. He was also there hyping up Elio LaFleur and Eli Knight in a triple threat match. He wants to beat both of them up and then he wants to come back for his speed championship. Love this. I love that we're actually building rivalries and building storylines around the speed championship. We never really got that. Before, the speed championship was always just a prop. Sol Ruca, it was a prop for her. Fallon Henley, it's just a prop for her. Jasper Troy didn't really have anything to do. He was barely on the show when he had the championship. So now that we're actually building storylines, building feuds for it, I'm loving this. It makes the championship feel a lot more special and we're really building in the right direction with it. Talking about the speed championship, in the women's speed championship tournament, Ren Sinclair defeats Nikita Lyons. I'm fine with it. I was kind of hoping Nikita Lyons wins because I've been loving what she's been doing on Evolve, but it's fine. It makes sense. Ren Sinclair does absolutely deserve this. In fact, remember earlier I said that I think Jacy Jayne's gonna get called up. I think the entirety of Fatal Influence probably gets called up. So Ren Sinclair probably should defeat Fallon Henley to become the new women's speed champion. And I would be so down for it. I think Ren could be an amazing champion. I think she would bring so much fun energy to that championship. And like the speed championship, really elevated because, let's be real, Fallon Henley has done nothing with or for that championship. She's great, but she hasn't done anything for it. We also had a sit-down interview between Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame ahead of their match for the Women's North American Championship, similar to the Tony D'Angelo thing. It was interesting at first, but it's literally months overdue for me. I was not interested in this since last December, so unfortunately, I literally have nothing to say here, man. Give Tatum Paxley that belt, or don't. You know what? Call her up. I think she's ready for a call-up. Call her up, or give her the belt, give her a nice reign. Doesn't matter. Just please end this. It was so good at first. I'm over it. But then Kalani Jordan, ahead of her underground match against Lola Vice, was training with Shayna Baszler. You all know I love Kalani Jordan, so it was so rude seeing how mean Shayna Baszler was to her. Like, what did Kalani Jordan ever do to deserve this meanness towards her? Nothing. You can't think of anything. I know you can. So it was just totally uncalled for from Shayna Baszler. It was very mean to her, telling her Kalani Jordan's plans doesn't work. Kalani Jordan's plans will work. She will wreck Lola Vice at the underground match. Thank you very much. But that was cool. Seeing Shayna Baszler was actually really cool. I would love to see more mentors on NXT. Like, have legends, or not legends, but like former wrestlers just come down, train people every now and again, have a small on-screen appearance. I think that would be cool. Also, Lola Vice was also preparing for this match as she was in a doctor's office with her hand being checked out. The doctor said she should not go through with this match because her hand could like suffer permanent damage. Lola Vice just said, nah, I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna do it. So, Lola Vice is probably going to be the ultimate underdog, but she will not defeat Kalani Jordan. Then, while this wasn't the main event match, this is the final match we're talking about. Shallow Will and Hank and Tank go up against the Vanity Project. An incredibly fun match. Man, I hope Shallow Will and Hank and Tank stay a team or stay a faction because this was incredibly fun. I love the ending to the match where Hank and Tank dove to the outside and Shallow Will used steel steps to dive into the inside and defeat Jackson Drake. Man, that was such a cool ending. I love that. During the match, Keanu Carver also just came up for 5 seconds, confronted Booker T, and then left again. Weird. I still think we're building towards a feud with Keanu Carver and Jasper Troy, but like personally, I hope Jasper Troy sticks with the speed storyline first and then comes after Keanu Carver because like Booker T is very high on Jasper Troy. So it makes sense that he would call on to Jasper Troy to face Keanu Carver. But let's finish that speed thing first because that could be really interesting. I am excited to see however where this goes. Maybe, we know Booker T can still go a tiny bit. Maybe Booker T versus Keanu Carver could be an interesting match. I really doubt that. I doubt that, but that would be some good fan fiction. And then the whole stuff with Blake Monroe and Jada Parker happening after the match. Shallow Will, Hank and Tank have to keep them apart. But overall, a really fun match. Probably my favorite match of the night. And then the end of the show was just, it was so weird. Ricky Saints had this weird, he basically tried to copy The Rock. He basically tried to pretend to be The Rock and sing. And I hope this was ironic. I hope they did this on purpose because if this was unintentional, man, it was awful. It was kind of cringe. I really did not enjoy this. I didn't like it at all. Thankfully, Joe Henry ended it by beating Ricky Saints up with a guitar. But man, I did not like this. I don't think it was a good way to end the show. Kinda really cringe, and I can handle cringe a lot of the time, man. I watch NXT. NXT is my favorite show. I can handle cringe. This was just a bit too much for me. Like Ricky Saints, everybody knows about The Rock comparisons. You should not lean into pretending to be The Rock, man. It just, no. Anyways, that was NXT for you tonight. And despite the bad stuff, like the main event, which was just not my taste. Ricky Saints joining stuff was not my taste. And the whole Tony D'Angelo things, still gonna give the show 10 out of 10. I massively enjoyed it despite the very few matches. This felt like an amazing, a perfect go-home show. I loved everything that happened from the opening to the ending despite, the bad stuff. Everything else was amazingly solid. Loved it. So 10 out of 10 show. And if you like my reviews, please like, subscribe. I cover NXT, TNA, and Evolve every single week, so you should check that out. I also have a podcast with PWF on Thursdays that you should check out. It's very fun, very cool. So leave a like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye, everyone.